And we begin tonight with breaking news in the Centennial neighborhood in Southeast Portland. Police have closed off Southeast Division Street from 162nd to 174th Avenue, and they're asking people in this area to shelter in place. This right now, a live look at the scene. Police officers say they have been shot at multiple times. They were called there because one person says they were being held captive. When they got there, the first shots were fired. They have not made contact with the people inside at this time, but will continue to monitor the situation and will update you with the latest information on KGW.com. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Brittany Falkers. We're also following some developing news tonight out of Wisconsin, where more than 40 people were injured and at least 5 died after a car drove through a holiday parade. According to officials in Waukesha, adults and children were transported to 6 hospitals in the area. The car that crashed into the crowd was recovered and one person of interest is in custody. It's not clear yet if it's the driver. The town's police chief said it was not known if there was any, quote, nexus to terrorism. We're also following a missing person case here in our community out of Washington County. They're asking for your help to find this woman, 24-year-old Sandra Mai. She walked away from her home near 192nd and Johnson around 1:30 this afternoon and was wearing a hoodie and sweatpants. Mai has a developmental disability, and may have trouble getting home. So if you see her or know where she is, you're asked to contact the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Dozens of people who are living on the street or need a little extra help will give thanks ahead of the holiday this week. But this year's supply chain challenges have forced local organizations to take creative steps to serve their Thanksgiving feasts. Galen Etlin explains the obstacles they face this holiday season.
Team members at the Union Gospel Mission in Portland's Old Town packed containers with hot Thanksgiving meals Sunday night, loaded the food into a van, and drove it miles across the county, giving to people living outside. To 24-year-old Danielle Smith, it means a lot.
They bring food every week, and we're super thankful.
These are human beings with families.
Courtney Dodds with the mission says COVID safety is part of the reason for this delivery approach, avoiding group meals served in-house. Takeout containers are harder to get these days, too, which means the effort is expensive. And getting all the holiday ingredients is also difficult.
Our food service director, in years past, she could contact Winco or just a grocer, and no problem, we could get the amounts of food that we needed. But this year she was running around all week trying to find the items that she needed through different grocery stores.
Some other events did not have quite the same challenge. The Salvation Army of Portland says its sit-down Thanksgiving meal on Sunday had a lot of big corporate support.
All of these donations coming in, we're able to serve our people.
Companies like Amazon and Imperfect Produce helped bridge the gap.
So we're meeting a need that is in our community.
The Union Gospel Mission gets similar support from grocery stores and donors, but has still faced supply chain shortages on some staples. But it powered through to deliver about 90 containers of turkey, potatoes, and gravy.
It reminds me a lot of home.
To Danielle and her companions outside.
I got a lot of gratitude.
The hot meal on a cold night
It makes me miss my mom.
means a little something extra. Galen Etlin, KGW News.
Well, are you getting out of town for Thanksgiving this year? AAA is projecting more than 53 million people will be traveling for Thanksgiving, and it comes at a time when airlines are facing widespread staffing shortages. All federal employees are required to show proof of vaccination tomorrow or risk losing their jobs. That includes TSA agents during the busiest travel season since the pandemic began. PDX expects 500,000 people to travel through our airport. The leader of the TSA expects normal security processes for holiday travel, and they do not believe the mandate deadline will cause any travel delays. A locally owned fast food company has some good news to report. Burgerville says it will reopen 5 of its restaurants closed in large part by effects of the pandemic. And Burgerville also expects to sign off on a union contract for some employees. Tim Gordon has the details.
It has been a very difficult 20 months for the food service business, and Vancouver-based Burgerville was not immune. All of the dining rooms in the chain's 40 stores shut down. And by late summer of this year, 5 restaurants were closed completely, like this one in Portland's Lentz neighborhood and this one in Southwest Washington in Vancouver Heights. Now they are coming back.
We're reopening 2 of our locations, St. John's and Vancouver Plaza, on Monday the 22nd, and we can't wait to welcome guests back. The other 3 locations, we're working on hiring in those areas, and we hope to reopen them before the end of the year.
As you just heard, the St. John's restaurant is about to open back up. Ross Wilson is happy about that.
Well, besides the obvious, the onion rings only come once a year, but they've got good burgers, quality food, and I really appreciate the owner of the place, what he's done for the area and the community all these years.
Burgerville was not feeling the love from some of its employees who went on strike pre-pandemic in October of 2019. Workers from 5 restaurants formed a union demanding better wages and working conditions. And after 51 negotiating sessions, they've got a deal, the first of its kind in the nation.
We're excited because for us, this means we get to move forward as one team. And I think Burgerville's a better company for having gone through this.
Burgerville's Hillary Barber anticipates the company and union employees will ratify the agreement by the end of the year. And she says all workers will benefit from it. But rehiring enough people to get back to normal is a challenge, so they are using social media and other ways to be more efficient.
Nobody wants to fill out a paper application, wait 2 weeks, come back, have a conversation or an interview, wait another week, come back and do more paperwork. It's moving much, much faster.
And it has to be with the new year just around the corner. Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Floodwaters overwhelmed the town of Sumas, Washington, and now people are picking up the pieces of what used to be. Sumas is a town close to the Canadian border. The area got more than 10 inches of rain just 1 week ago. That, combined with early season snowmelt, caused river overflow, sending a dangerous surge of water into the community. Now that they're drying out, a rush of help is pouring in, but it doesn't make it any easier moving forward.
We open a cupboard and there's, the grandma's picture and the water, and because the material stuff's okay, it's that stuff that gets you.
It's difficult. I mean, your kids want to be home for Christmas morning, and I don't think we'll be here.
Experts point to climate change. The way the jet stream behaves in a warming climate makes it more prone to stall, and the weather system's more likely to stay in one area for longer. A warning tonight for pet owners from area veterinarians. There's an uptick in an infectious and potentially deadly disease among cats and kittens. But as Christelle Kumwe reports, the virus is preventable with a vaccination.
Local veterinarians and shelters are seeing the resurgence of a contagious and potentially deadly disease among cats and kittens.
This is not a problem that's been unique to Portland or Oregon even. This is a problem that we're seeing nationwide.
The disease is called feline distemper virus or feline leukopenia.
Vomiting, diarrhea, lethargy.
Dr. Stephen Kochis with the Oregon Humane Society listed out some of the common symptoms.
Cats are often not eating or drinking, and they will typically have a fever.
If left untreated, it can be fatal.
And the population, again, that's most at risk is cats that are unvaccinated.
Dr. Kochis believes the pandemic may have contributed to the spike in cases.
Veterinary services have been very limited, so people have not had great access to even wellness care or preventative care, and that provides a great opportunity for this virus to get in and spread.
There is no cure for leukopenia, but intensive medical treatment with fluids and sometimes antibiotics can help cats recover. However, they could potentially become reinfected.
Still, once they've recovered, I would recommend vaccination to protect them. But yeah, oftentimes infection then creates immunity for future infection.
He says if you have a kitten or cat with leukopenia, but your other cats have been appropriately vaccinated, the risk of transmission is very low. Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.